Yes, sir. Hello.
Yes.
Is it visible?
Yeah, you can go for the full screen.
Yes, sir. I'm in full screen. Hello, sir. Excuse me. Hello.
Yeah, Swaroop,
Sir,
can you make it full screen?
it's in full screen.
Full screen, is it? Uh,
I'll just share screens.
yeah, share it. Okay, now it's better.
Good morning, class. So today we'll be looking into ARINC 429. So ARINC stands for Aeronauticals Radio Incorporated. So it's a company which created the ARINC 429. 429 is one of the various models. ARINC is basically a data bus which is same as military standard 1553. But since 1553 can't be applied to all the types of aircraft, since it is more complex with the bus monitors, the bus controllers, and remote terminals, we needed a more simpler form of data bus. So that is ARINC 429. ARINC 429 supports a 32-bit word format, which has 8-bit label, 2-bit SDI, 19-bit data, 2-bit SSM, and 1 parity bit. So 8-bit label is what gives a data meaning. It's like label can be, for example, like 206. 206 can be assigned to airspeed. So the data contained within this data format, word format, is of airspeed. That is what label indicates. And SDI stands for source destination identifier. Uh, so the 2-bit SDI says that this data is coming from where and to where. That is where is the source and where is the destination. The next is the data. Data is what the main part. So whatever the information we are sending consists in the data part. SSM stands for sign status matrix. It gives the information on the data, like if it is positive or negative, or it even specifies the status of the data. And P is parity bit, as we know what we use parity bit for. The next
Swaroop,
is
wait.
uh,
Swaroop, just 1 second. Go to the previous slide. If the SDI
yes, sir.
is only 2 bits, does it mean it can support only 4 devices? So there are only 4 combinations, no?
Sir, but since ARINC is a unidirectional data bus, there's only one source and one destination for each bus.
No, it cannot be, no? It cannot be unidirectional.
Sir, but ARINC 429 is unidirectional, whereas 1553 is bidirectional.
No,
This
no,
uses a
see,
simplex signal.
no, even if it is simplex, no, first of all, it cannot be simplex because data flow has to take place in both directions.
No, sir, but in ARINC 429, simple one bus is only unidirectional. But if you want both directions, we have to add another one data bus. That is what makes it. Uh, so that is why we need more copper wires, more buses, sir. But it can't be
So you
if
mean to say it's not bidirectional?
sir, ARINC 429 is not bidirectional. 1553 is bidirectional.
I see.
And this label, as I said, if airspeed is 206,
Mm.
but the label for each devices might not be the same. So 206
Okay.
for one device might be different from the other device. So with the
Mhm.
combination of SDI and the label, it can differentiate which device the data is transmitted to.
Okay. No, in that case, it is 2 power 8 devices,
Yes.
isn't it?
But ARINC basically supports only up to 20 receivers.
20 devices. Okay.
Yes.
Okay, continue.
So next is a basic circuit. So we can see that ARINC does not have any. controller, monitor, or remote terminals. But whereas it's as we can see in the figure, the twisted wire is the main data bus, and from which the 20 devices can be connected. Since it's very much same as 1553, let's just look over some differences. ARINC. ARINC is, yes, it was designed to use in civil aircrafts, whereas 1553 was a military standard. Even though few civil aircrafts uses military standard, but civil aircraft doesn't need that complex standard such as 1553. So they went for ARINC 429. And ARINC 429 has a very slower transfer speeds, so which goes up to only 100 kbps. But military standard, it goes up to 1 mbps. And as I said before, ARINC is a simplex signal, that is unidirectional bus. So only one direction communication can happen from a receiver, from a transmitter to a receiver. And it has no bus controller, bus monitor, terminal required. And supports 20 receivers. And the signal is a self-clocking signal, that is written to 0. Which means even if you have continuous high voltage or low voltage, 0 every pulse.
If there is no bus controller, then there might be conflict, no? More than one LRU, one box can start dumping their data. So how is that avoided?
No, sir, the data comes from only one device, but it's transmitted to multiple devices.
No, it cannot be, no, because
But is
devices.
no, sir, there's one transmitter and multiple 20 receivers.
No, that's what it
And
cannot be, no, because
the
you.
data type,
Huh?
sir, there's one transmitter and multiple receivers, and based on the data type, we'll group the receiver. So if 3 to 4 receivers want the pressure data, then we'll group those into one system, sir. So the data will go to only
one system, but how is the reverse flow of information taking place then?
Sir?
The reverse flow, like, okay, you command the air data system to give some data, pressure data, okay?
Yes.
But that, okay, now that device recognizes it as a valid command.
Yes.
So it has to dump the data. So it is doing that job. Meanwhile, some other system also dumps the data. Then how will you avoid conflict?
What do you mean by some other system?
No, one is air data system, another can be radar. So different modules.
So, but it's coming from different buses.
Then it's no longer a serial bus, no? Then you will be running so many wires. I don't think they would have made it like that.
ARINC 429 is unidirectional, which means there's only one transmitter.
Only one transmitter. So multiple devices cannot feed information to a single device, like display. Suppose you have head-up display, you will have multiple devices feeding information to it. So what you are trying to say is it's not possible. Anyway, I'll also check up. I haven't read about it. Okay. Anything else?
No, sir. Thank you.
Yeah. Okay, you can stop sharing. Okay. Last class I told you people to get a relationship between bank angle and rate of turn. Okay, psi dot. Unfortunately, Sandhita hasn't done it. Definitely next class you have to do it, Sangeeta. It's a very simple thing and all flight mechanics books, they give it. Just resolving
Yes, sir.
these vectors in both directions, okay? The vertical and horizontal. So, and eliminating L. Just a recap, like what you mean by heading and all. Suppose aircraft is flying towards north, that is XC. Uh, the body axis is pointing towards this direction, and velocity vector is also pointing towards north. Okay. Uh, uh, XE is not to be confused with east. X is Earth axis. XE is Earth axis, which is north and east. So YE becomes east. So it's also called as NED axis, northeast down axis. We are just looking at the horizontal plane. If the body rotates about the Z axis by some angle, that is called the yaw angle, okay, with respect to north. But the velocity vector need not be exactly pointing towards the body axis XB. So that difference is called the side slip angle. And the total angle, that is psi plus beta, becomes the heading angle. Okay. Like what we saw in the longitudinal plane, in the directional plane also you have these three angles. I'll just wind up with this, and assuming that we have this relationship psi dot is equal to g by u into phi. Phi is the bank angle. Now we'll have to build a autopilot for this. Okay. Uh, so we require some heading angle psi ref. So let us say we are flying from Coimbatore to Chennai. Probably it is 45 degrees approximately, uh, because it's going to be in the northeast direction. So you set that, and aircraft is initially pointing to north. So there is a error, psi error. With this controller, it is converted to a required bank angle, because bank angle is going to rotate, any bank angle is going to rotate the aircraft about the Z axis also. So initially the bank angle will be 0, then you get another error in the bank angle, which gets converted to the roll rate P. Phi dot is nothing but P. I told you about PQR. So this roll rate uh, is given to the aileron with the help of some controllers. And the moment you deflect the ailerons, the flight dynamics part takes over. So aircraft starts rolling about the x-axis at a rate p. So again, this loop p and pd gets compared. Then the bank angle now changes, which is fed back to the system using the attitude heading reference system. Now, if you look at the flight path kinematics, the bank angle phi results in psi. Okay, because of this relationship, psi dot is equal to g by u into phi. So it's just the kinematics part of it. Now, if you integrate it over a period of time, you get psi, that is the heading angle. Uh, Yaw angle, assuming there's no side slip, it becomes the heading angle. So you know what is the heading angle, and you again compare these two things, you get the error. So you have an inner loop, which is the flight dynamics loop, and the outer loop, which is the flight kinematics loop, or for the autopilot. So that's how you can fix a particular heading, and the aircraft will maintain that particular heading. Uh, Next class we'll start with ILS. Again, a recap. There are three types of ILS categories. Cat 1 is a decision height of y-axis is the decision height above ground level, and runway visual range. So up to 2,400 feet. Uh, this is the limits of Cat 1. If you go to Cat 2, it will read you up to 100 feet decision height, and at a range of approximately 1200 feet. Then 3A is much closer, up to 700, uh, up to touch, as long as you can see up to 700 feet from the touchdown. That is Cat 3A, and B is 150 feet, and Cat 3C is no decision height and just up to touchdown. Okay. Uh, but this is the ILS part of it. But maybe around 50 feet decision and around 100 feet from the touchdown, at a height of 50 feet, the flare control will take over. Okay, so that's a different autopilot altogether. So next class we'll start with ILS. Okay. ILS autopilot. But before that, Nandita, you'll have to give me
Yes,
the
sir.
derivation. Yeah,
Okay.
you'll have to derive this. Okay. Right. So I think we'll keep it short. Uh, so we'll end the class today, and we'll start with ILS autopilots in the next class. Okay. Thanks everyone. No, we'll meet in the next class. And Sarup, your airing thing I'll also go through, but I'm having slightly some doubts on whether it's unidirectional or bidirectional.
Sir, I checked that, sir. It says Arink has one transmitter and 20 receivers. It uses simplex signal, the same thing.
Okay, I'll also check up. Okay, I'll confirm next time. Okay.
Okay, sir.
Okay, thanks. We'll meet in the next class.
Thank you, sir.